Hi guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. I'm so excited to be doing this video again, and don't forget this is personal development with Udo Victoria. And today through the series we've had a couple of videos. The past videos that I did were on personal development. We talked about social media skills, etiquette rather. We talked about personal branding. We also talked about networking skills, talked about writing, talked about research, talked about why personal development is important for every young professional. So today we are going to be very practical about today's video. And today I'm going to be showing you a PDP, right? A PDP is a personal development plan. So when we talk about PDP, I've already explained in my previous videos that personal development is a conscious and intentional effort for you to develop yourself as a person. So when we talk about a PDP, we're referring to the plan, actualizing this conscious effort, actualizing this intentional effort to be a better version of yourself. So when we say PDP, what are we referring to? We're referring to a set of plan, right, or goals that you've outlined to help achieve this personal development. I mean, with personal development, we understand the importance. You grow, you excel, you become better at what you do. You have a wide range of individuals, target markets that are willing to learn from you. And then we also talk about the fact that you have an opportunity to create value and influence the life of other people. So now, if you want to experience this personal development and reach the peak of it, what do you do? What's that plan? What's that side plan you need to put into action that would help you actualize and achieve this thing? And that's what a PDP is. A PDP is a set of goals, plans that you outline for yourself for you to help for you to be able to actualize, your personal development. So a typical PDP would have goals, your strengths, your weaknesses, your opportunities, and the resources available to you. So, personal development plan. You have your goals, your strengths, your weaknesses, resources available to you, the opportunities as opportunities available to you too, and a time frame for you to actualize these goals. So most of us now, New Year is coming, like it's December, you're chilling with all the goat meat and Kobe that you're enjoying. Yeah, that's fine. Some of us go back and examine our life for the past year, and we begin to make New Year resolutions. We talk about the things we didn't like that we did the previous year, or the things we want to do in this new year coming. We begin to set these goals. Some of us even go as far as writing it down. We begin to set these goals that we want to actualize. We tell ourselves, you know what, this is the time frame I have for this, and this is when I'm going to actualize this. And a lot of us start working towards actualizing it during that time frame. That's how a PDP is. A PDP, you set out plan for yourself. And the thing about PDPs is that you don't necessarily need to say, force yourself into it, right? You just need to outline them and ensure that you put in the efforts to achieve them, right? So now let's talk about the different things in a PDP. Now we're talking about your goals. Your goal is after a critical reflection of your life or a particular area of your life, and you see that there's a need to develop on something, you set the goal to do that thing, to develop it. So you are a student, you are a worker in your workplace, and in the past year, or when you got into this new workplace, you notice that you don't go to work on time. You have an issue with lateness, right? You're not timely to work, and you want to work on it because your bosses have been on your neck about it. Your bosses are always saying, oh, you're not doing your job, you're not doing this, you're not doing that. And you're like, you know what, I'm going to work in this. You don't need to put it in my face that I'm not doing what I'm going to definitely work in this. And then you now decide to work in it. Like you set a time frame, and then you begin to put in plans. You tell yourself, you know what, I'm going to set an alarm, I'm going to sleep earlier, I'm not going to eat heavy food at night so that I don't feel too tired in the morning. I'm going to leave my house 30 minutes earlier than I usually did, and stuff like that. That is you finding out an area of your life you want to work on, and then making out goals and plans to take action and work on that area, right? Let's say another example. You're a student, you notice that you are not doing too well in school and you're wondering, why is it that way? You decide that I'm going to cut down on the clubbing, I'm going to cut down on the social life and extracurricular activities while I focus here in school. Or then you notice that you're lagging behind and you're not getting opportunities you're supposed to get. You critically analyze and reflect on your life and that particular area and identify what the problem is. So having identified the problem, your next thing you need to identify are the skills and strengths in that particular area. So when we talk about skills and strengths in that particular area, we're talking about what is that thing that makes you so good or so bad in that area, right? These are like the strengths and weaknesses of that area. So we were using lateness for a young professional to start with. So now your strength is that you live close to the office. So you're wondering, how is it that I live close to the office? I just need to, pass through 2 bus stops, but yet I always go to work late. Your strength is already is that you live close. So you ask yourself, what's the weakness? The weakness is that there's a mindset that because you live very close to the office, you would always get there on time. And so this mindset doesn't let you go to bed on time. This mindset doesn't let you put into consideration that one day, your car could break down or there could be hectic traffic that will make you still go to work late. So those are the weaknesses, right? You have this mindset that you, no matter what, because you live very close to the office, you would always get to the office on time, but that's not the case. So you haven't established or having examined and realized this is what the problem is. These are the strengths I have in this area. These are the weaknesses I have in this area. Then you ask yourself, what are the opportunities? So opportunities, right? Are you a car owner or you always take the bus? If you take the bus, you always have to have in mind that you need to put in extra effort to get to the bus stop at least 30 minutes earlier, because like in Nigeria that we know, it's after the driver finished loading the vehicle that you go and start buying fuel. So you need to examine the fact that driver have not bought fuel before you load vehicle and put passenger inside. Driver will go and spend 10-20 minutes in filling station trying to buy fuel. Then you talk about the hold-ups that happen in the morning because everybody's rushing to their workplace. It's not your car. And buses, you just have to put in that extra consideration that something could go wrong at any point in time. So these are the opportunities you have. And then for car owners, you've already fueled your car over the week that will take you through the week, or help you go to work for at least 3 to 4 days. And then you're like, okay, I need to leave the house early because it's traffic. I can't leave my car on the road and start running to the workplace. And then you examine, if it's a long distance and there's lots of traffic, would it be better if you take the bus or would it be better if you drive to work? So all these things are the opportunities you need to examine for yourself. Now, the next thing after examining the opportunities that you have, what are the available resources? These are the same thing here. The car, the bus. Now let's go to someone who wants to learn public speaking, right? Your goal is to be a good public speaker. Your goal is to be able to speak. So now, having examined that, you're not a good public speaker. You find it difficult speaking in front of a crowd or in front of people. So your goal now is to examine, okay, this public speaking skills now that I'm trying to get. The goal is to be a good public speaker. Now, what is the next thing to do? You need to overcome nervousness. You need to overcome this fear of speaking in public, stage fright and stuff like that. So having examined the goal and examined the expected goal, right? The plan is to become a good public speaker. The expected goal is to overcome nervousness, overcome stage fright, overcome whatever it is that doesn't let you become this public speaker that you want to become. So what's the next thing that you do? You begin to outline the actions you will take. So what is that action you want to take? You begin to practice. You decide that, I'm going to download a whole module or YouTube and watch public speakers on how they've overcome stage fright. And having watched all these videos and had access to resource materials, what's the next thing you want to do? You want to begin to practice in your free time, your spare time. You want to practice how to, speak properly. So you said, okay, I'm going to have a camera in front of me or a mirror, and I'm going to start talking and I'm going to start telling myself what I want to tell myself, and I'm going to send this video out to my friend to listen and tell me if my speech is eloquent enough, if my choice of tenses, my choice of language is good enough, if I would make it if I continue practice to be a good public speaker. So all these things, right, are things you need to have at the back of your mind to do when it comes to actualizing your goal. Now, having practiced, having taken action, what is the next thing you do? Application. Now, the thing with PDPs is that when it comes to application, people feel they haven't done enough to begin to apply the things that they are learning over time. You're learning a new skill, you're learning to overcome stage fright, you're learning a new aspect of your life, you're trying to develop this part of your life that you think has an issue, right? Or you just want to be a better version of yourself. But then you get to the point, or you're given an opportunity where you can actually apply these skills you've learned. But then inferiority complex comes in, self-doubt comes in. You're like, oh, I haven't learned enough. No, I haven't learned enough. I've not even come close to where I want to be, so I can't do this. That's a problem. That's a definite problem. Because when it comes to applying, you need to be very conscious that application is what helps you overcome that thing. So now we're talking about public speaking. Application is begin to volunteer for jobs, right? Begin to attend seminars that will give you an opportunity to practice. Begin to actualize these things that you want to actualize. Begin to give yourself an opportunity to learn. And so having given yourself this opportunity, you volunteer for talk shows, you volunteer for public speaking exercises, you attend public speaking events, right? Because you already did this when you were learning. You were attending public speaking events and trying to learn. So having attended these public speaking events, you now tell yourself, you know what? I have learned this thing. The next public speaking event I'm going to learn, I'm going to volunteer and I'm going to speak in public. I'm going to see if I've gotten that skill. It's always hard, yes, but the first time, after doing it the first time, the other times become easier. It becomes easier to do these things because the first time is the hardest. But once you've gotten a hang of it, and you've spoken in front of a public, right? Crowd, right? You just find yourself doing it more automatically. I know a lot of people won't believe me, but there was a point in time when I was struggling with speaking in front of a crowd. I know. I think it was sometime in secondary school, I guess. I wasn't really that outspoken, my just one just two. I wasn't speaking like this. No. It wasn't what it was. But over time, I didn't know that I had to put in conscious efforts to do it. I was still, how old? I don't know, 12, 13. So I really didn't know if I wanted to put in the conscious efforts, if I was supposed to even start with. But our debate and literary club then in school always pushed us to do more. So there's sometimes I will go and I will volunteer that I want to speak, I want to read the news during the assembly. And over time, when I became the head of our debate team and our literary team in school, I realized that those little volunteering I did when I was, in just 3 SS1, they really helped me. So when I became the head of this debate team and we had to, be reading news and, head of literary society then in school, it was easier for me. It was easier. I could stand in front of the whole school. The whole school from JS1 to SS3. Even when I was in SS2. Stand in front of the whole school. You know how it is now. You be forming a fizzy and trying to I could stand in front of the whole school and read out news without being shy and stuff like that. Practice. Once you just do it once, you become, you get the hang of it. And the thing is that when you do it once, don't forget to self-reflect. Always learn, always go back and reflect. This thing I did the first time, did I do it well? Was there an opportunity for me to do it, in a better way? What if I try it this way? What if I try speaking with phonetics this time? Will I sound foreign or will I sound like I'm faking it? What if I try to speak more fluently this time? Will I sound funny or will I just be normal? So all these things are they are part of that great process. You can't deny it. Excuse me. You can't go from 0 to 100. No. It has to be 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, 100. You need to know that it takes time to put in those efforts. So you need to also take out time to invest and put in those efforts and then apply it. So the last part of this PDP is your deadline. Most people have unrealistic timeline for themselves. Oh my God. You want to buy a car, you put in 2 months. You are a salary earner that is earning 150,000. You want to buy a car, you're putting Why are you deceiving, please? No, don't do that. But the thing is that except you have a backup plan, I don't see why you should be putting unrealistic timelines for yourself. Take time. Investment in yourself takes time. That's something people need to know. You don't just wake up and it happened. It takes time. Like, it takes lots of time for you to be able to achieve something. So if you're not putting in those efforts, and you won't see it coming. An author of a book, right, would have published an amazing book. I mean, take the likes of Chimamanda, Chinua Achebe. It didn't take them one day for their books that is causing waves all over the nation now to just come into light. They gave themselves time to harness their creativity. It started from one, it started from two, and before you know, their books became something that is sought after by lots of people in Africa and beyond the African country. So it doesn't just happen, boom. It takes time. So give yourself time. If you're working on yourself for public speaking, it could take weeks. In fact, weeks is less. It could take months. It would take time for you to have a hang of it. But when you eventually invest that time and then you get a hang of it, you'll be so glad that you took enough time to invest in yourself. But when you're just being shabby about it, blah blah blah, oh, I can freestyle it, I can do it anyhow, you fail to learn along, through the process. Because I posted something on my WhatsApp status. I think it was yesterday. I can't really remember, but there was a time I posted something on my WhatsApp status that it was something about the when you put in efforts, those times that you put in efforts to learn a skill, to learn something, don't take them for granted. Because those moments that you used to learn something, that time, it helps you build resilience for when you eventually start applying those skills that you've learned. And that's the honest truth. Once you put in time, invest your resources into doing something, you're building resilience. So don't take the time you invest in yourself for granted. Please never do that. Don't take that time for granted. Every part of it is worth it. Every single part of it. So you need to be very, very, proactive about it. So if you want to learn public speaking, you can put 3, 4 months, 5 months at determining how long you want to learn it. And so, having examined the timeline, the next thing we need to talk about is the reflection, the re-examination, the self-evaluation, which is also very, very important. You can't grow from one stage to another without evaluating yourself. Evaluation is very, very important. Evaluation is very, 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 very important. I'm emphasizing it, because when you've learned a new skill and you go back and having applied, having done the actions, having set your timeline, at the end of the timeline, you've been able to achieve it. If you don't go back and examine that thing, if you've been able to learn that skill, if you've learned along the process of learning that skill, if you don't go back to do that, you deceive yourself. Right? You fail to realize how much value you've invested in yourself. And like I always say, you can't give what you don't have. So if you don't have that value, how do you want to give it to other people? How do you want to help other people create that value? Invest in yourself. Invest in yourself. Invest in yourself. It's the biggest investment you can ever do. Invest in yourself. Take out time to do so. Have a PDP. For your career, have a PDP. For your relationship, your partner is always complaining that you're not doing this, you're not doing that. Set a timeline to change that thing. Talk it out. You want to achieve something with your partner, set a timeline to achieve that, right? Your spiritual life, set a timeline. You are backsliding, you're not reading your Bible, you're not studying you're not praying. Set out timeline. Find out what the problem is. Set out timeline. Have priority. Like I said in my previous video, you can't talk about personal development and you're not talking about priority. You need to know what works for you. What is the most important thing for you at a particular time. It helps you determine the PDP too. So you need to have all these things at the back of your mind in order to have a PDP. A PDP cuts across every single area of your life. So let's do a quick recap. Personal development plan, a self-evaluation plan that helps you actualize your goals, helps you actualize the plans you have to personally develop yourself, right? And in this personal development plans, we're talking about your goals, your strengths, your weaknesses, your opportunities and the resources available to you, the timeline, and self-evaluation. So you have your goal, you have your strengths, the weaknesses, you have the opportunities available to you, the resources that you could use to do this, the timeline to achieve this action, to take action and begin to practice and begin to try and get this skill, right? you begin to apply. After applying, what you have a timeline and deadline to work with. Then the very important one, you self-evaluate, you reflect. This thing I've done, did I do it well? Did I achieve it well? And that's all. A good PDP helps you actualize the best of goals that you could imagine. So, guys, don't forget to subscribe and turn on your notification button so that you keep getting more content like this and build yourself. Share with your friends, share with your colleagues, your mom, your dad, any single person that you feel need to work on a particular area of their life. Help them out by sharing the YouTube link or this YouTube video with them. And until next time, keep being the best version of yourself. I love you guys, and I'll see you in our next video where we'll be talking about a lot of things on personal development. Stay tuned, and until next time, bye.